Hey everybody, what's up? Yeah, I would have done this earlier, except I was tired, I was resting, I'm getting over a cold. This is what happens when you ride the bus. The one thing I forgot to do was take my airborne, or the Equate version of airborne. I took it yesterday and that seemed to help, but again, this is what happens when you ride the bus and you deal with customers. Sometimes they cough and they don't cover their mouths, and sometimes you're on the bus with some people that just don't believe in that, I guess. I don't know. But if I do cough a little bit, it's because I just took some cough drops, not cough drops, but some Equate version of the Dayquil pills, if you will. I'm also drinking some coffee, so it's appropriate I got this mug as well because what I'm talking about. But yeah, welcome to a special My Little Pony Friendship is Magic edition of Topics on My Mind. We got 4 topics we're going to get through as quickly as I can before my mom gets home. Because, as I've said before, in case you guys, uh, you know, follow the channel, basically, it's kind of hard to do a video when you live with family. You know what I'm saying? So the 4 topics we're going to talk about here are, of course, number 1, the upcoming 200th episode, which will come out this Saturday at 8:30 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time, and that's about 11:30 Eastern Daylight Time. So that's going to be really fun. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get up, and I think my plan, honestly, is to try to do what I did when I watched Best Gift Ever, and that's do a reaction. But the problem is, again, like I said, I live with family, and the coincidental thing at that time was my mom was at a conference that day, I believe, a training conference or something. So I had the time to be able to do that on my own accord. Here, it's going to be a little harder. I might be able to do it if she's still asleep, but we'll see what happens. If not, I'll probably watch it later and then give my thoughts on it afterwards. But we'll see what happens. But I'm going to talk about 200. Um, Also talk about BabsCon 2019 happening right now as we speak. Number 3, talk about the controversy, small as it is, surrounding the 3rd episode of season 9, Uprooted, as well as what does the future hold for FIM, and mostly its connecting spin-off series, Equestria Girls, or connecting / spin-off series, Equestria Girls. So, yeah, gonna talk about all that. And as we get going here. So anyway, let's talk about episode. Let's start off by talking about episode 200. Yes, episode 200. Hard to believe is going to premiere this Saturday. Like I said, at 8:30 a.m. Eastern, 8:30 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time, and 11:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Excuse me. So it's going to be a fun deal watching that. The episode is called Twilight's 7. Now, here's the thing about these anniversary episodes, these milestone episodes. Um, Not a lot of people. Well, what I'm trying to say is not a lot of us know whether or not the episode is going to connect with the series. I do know that Fame and Misfortune, when it came out in season 7, I think that might have been around the 175 mark, maybe. I could be wrong. Because now we're in episode 200, and 25 episodes ago was around season 8, so that was 175 there. But obviously it was some kind of important episode. I can't really tell whether or not it was supposed to be 175 or it was just something they threw out there as sort of episode that they had to get out of the system. Let me check, for example. Hold on. Let me check. Let me check example. But anyway, what I'm saying is that here we go. This will let me know what it is. Okay, according to Wikipedia, Fame and Misfortune was episode 157. And the 175th episode was Surf and or Turf. So that was a Cutie Marks Crusader episode. So that's pretty cool. Anyway, Twilight 7 is going to be the next episode, is episode 200. The last anniversary episode that I know of, or that we all know of, I should say, was Slice of Life, which was a thank you letter to the fans, and it focused on mainly on the background characters. In other words, not just the main. In other words, the roles were reversed. So the main six ended up in the background. Well, the background ponies or the mid-major pony characters were put to the forefront. The ones that don't really get that much love or anything like that. Anyway, though, yeah, episode 200 is going to be happening this Saturday, and like I said, it's called Twilight 7. And basically, the background information about it that's been talked about over the past several months by Jim Miller, who works on the series as well, known as the biggest Jim on Twitter. Jim basically said that this episode is, well, according to Wikipedia, it's like a teleplay. So I don't know if it's not an hour-long episode as far as I know, because I looked at my guide and it's only a half hour. But it's a teleplay. The teleplay, basically, like the writing out the ideas and all that, or the writing the entire script out, if you will. A majority of the script was done by Nicole Dubuque and Josh Haber. Excuse me. Now, excuse me. With that said, most of the story ideas and stuff that's going to get implemented into this episode, even though a majority of the script was written by Nicole Dubuque and Josh Haber, most of the ideas and stuff that's going to be utilized in the show by the characters, most of the stuff that's going to be done by them, utilized by them, what have you, is going to, a lot of what you're going to see on what I'm trying to say are ideas and things that the actresses, the people behind the voices, have been wanting their characters to do. You're going to see, so in other words, you'll see things happening with these characters. You see these characters doing things they normally wouldn't do. You're going to see something with Pinky. I'm guessing that thing of her going into space, that has to deal with her. That's an idea that Ashley Ball wanted for Pinky. Starlight dressed up as Applejack playing the ukulele or something, I guess is something that Starlight's voice actress, I can't think of her name, and Ashley Ball. No, actually, Ashley Ball's the voice of Applejack and Rainbow. Adrian Limbren, Limbren, can't pronounce the name right now. Sorry about that. Adrian Limbren is the voice of Pinky and Fluttershy and Adrian obviously had the idea of Pinky doing the space thing or something, and Ashley Ball had the idea along with, I think, Catherine, I think that's her name, who does the voice of Starlight, to dress Starlight up as Applejack, kind of disguise her with the coloring and all that. So we'll have to wait and see how that comes about. But basically, a lot of the ideas, like I said, a lot of the stuff you're going to see is stuff that the actresses wanted their characters to be able to do, have been wanting their characters to be able to do, even if it's for one time. You know, so you're going to see things that that Rarity has never been able to do, or you never thought Rarity would do, or anything like that, because these are ideas Tabitha St. Germain, gave to Nicole and Josh, and kind of got the ball rolling on what she would want. She's been wanting Rarity to do, show off that she can do even once. So that got the ball rolling there. Same with Tara Strong, who voices Twilight. The same with, and again, I said this in an audio video talking about episode 200, talking about the more information that Jim gave. I'm hoping maybe she threw in a little bit of, hey, can I throw in a little bit of Harley Quinn in there for Twilight to get to that moment? Maybe have her dress up like Harley. Who knows? So we got Tara throwing in some ideas. We got Kathy Westlick. I think Kathy, not Catherine, but Kathy, who does Kathy Westlick, I think, that does Spike's voice. She threw some ideas in there. We're going to see the princesses, like Luna and Celestia. I'm wondering if maybe Tabitha's doing some ideas for Luna, and maybe Nicole Oliver threw some ideas in there for Celestia. Again, we're going to find out, but mainly what the episode is overall is a thank you letter to these 6 to 7, 8 voice actresses that help bring these characters to life. So again, like I said, even though a majority of the script and story was written by Nicole and Josh, the teleplay portion, I guess, as Wikipedia calls it, most of what you're going to see, the ideas and stuff with the characters, is all coming from the minds of the actresses, of the actors, the voice actors and actresses that brought these characters to life over almost the past decade. So it's going to be really interesting to see what we get out of that this Saturday. Give me really interesting to see what we get. Because no one, I'm guaranteeing you this. Even though you had a lot of people after episode 100 saying, "Oh, we're going to get a 200th episode," there's no doubt. Reality-wise, I don't think anybody ever thought we would get to 200. Like 100 episodes, great. And maybe going beyond that is even better. But I'm guaranteeing you, no one ever thought we were going to get 200 episodes. But yet, here we are. We're at the 200th episode. And as far as an animated series goes, that is a big, big deal. That is a big, big, humongous deal. You know what I'm saying? Because of the fact that when you think about it, not a lot of animated series are able to reach that milestone. Not a lot. Because usually when an animated series is able to reach that many seasons, the company or the studio behind it cuts down on the episodes per season. So if they would have just kept it like at 13 each, like they did for that one season, I don't know what happened there, honestly. For one of the seasons they had, if they would have just kept it at 13 episodes, then we wouldn't be at 200 right now. We'd still be in the 100s. We'd be half of what 26 episodes are, right? So we'd be half of what 200 is. This would be actually episode 100 if you think about it, or something like that. So yeah, to get to 200, especially with a series like My Little Pony that initially, let's be honest, was made to sell merchandise and all that. Whether it's toys, clothing, however you want to look at it. Um, that's what it was originally meant for. So for it to get to this point in its lifespan, it's a huge accomplishment. And I guarantee you that a lot of people are going to be tuning into this. They're either going to DVR it like I'm going to do so they can watch it later on, or as I traditionally like to do, record it onto DVD later. And for me, that's going to be a little bit difficult as well because, well, that might be tricky, maybe not be so tricky because what I'm planning to do, I used to do this in the past, so I'll probably do it again. I'll probably get up early in the morning and try to record the episode um, before before anybody gets up, so I can put it onto DVD and then go over here. What I'm gonna have to do, I think I'm looking at the time right now. Like right now, it's 5:34 Pacific. What I'm gonna have to do is probably get up around 6, maybe 6:37, around that time frame between 6 and 7. Put a disc in there, and then whatever time I start it up, go back to my room and wait for it to be done, and then go back, get it, put it back in a case. So, gonna have to do that. But overall, though, really, really looking forward to this episode. Now, like I said at the beginning, before I started talking about the topics here, for me personally, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do a live reaction. I mean, if I can do what I did with Best Gift Ever and give a live reaction, I'm going to do that. But just to let anybody else know, I will if I do a live reaction because somebody asked me this in a comment section before. I will not be showing any footage because I don't want to take a chance that even though Hasbro is okay with it, and even though I don't monetize my channel, um, I'm not going to take any chances. I'm just going to give you my reactions, and if I don't do that, I'll probably do a review later on, just to give you my thoughts on it overall. But I do know that there's going to be a lot of people coming out with their reviews that day as well. Um, I know that somehow, some way, Dr. Wolf's going to bring a collaborator review together that day or that night, or even the next day for episode 200. And as for me, I'll have plenty of time to try to check that review out because I'll be off these next few days. Not tomorrow, though. I work tomorrow, but the next few days after that. But overall, though, episode 200 is just huge. And in my personal opinion, I like what they're doing. I like the fact that they are giving the women here the platform to express how they would have written their characters or what they would have had their characters do a long time ago, and now they finally get the chance to do it. And I like the idea that it is a thank you letter to these ladies because these ladies have multiple voice acting jobs all over, especially Tara Strong. You know, if you didn't know who Tara Strong was before now, and then you find out that not only is she voicing Twilight, but you find out she's voiced these other iconic roles. Like she was the voice. I mean, like a lot of people look at her as the primary voice of Harley Quinn. So, so to have this series be like one of those animated series where you kind of find out that the person that's voicing like the main character, the main star of the show, also voiced one of the more iconic DC characters. That's something that is like that to me is a huge bombshell when you think about it. So for Allspark Animation and the people behind the series to be able to give most of the script to these voice actresses and say, here, tell us what you would have your characters do. Tell us what your characters have never done, but yet you want to see them do. because again, the now, because again, this episode's called Twilight Seven, so obviously it's a play off the Magnificent Seven title. So the synopsis is her and Shining Armor are going to settle a long-standing sibling rivalry, but they find out that not the only players in this situation. So just that alone is the selling point. That alone is a selling point. But you got to wonder who else is going to be involved. I think I think Dr. Wolf said it best, if you will. I think Dr. Wolf said it best that you can only imagine what will happen if you have the other siblings involved. Like what's going to come, what kind of situation is going to come down with with Fluttershy and uh, Zephyr Freeze. You got to imagine what Applejack and Big Mac may get into. Stuff like that. It's to me that right there is probably the best. Probably, in my opinion, the most interesting scenarios. Finding out what the other siblings are going to do. I mean, you also have the Cutie Mark Crusaders. And can you only imagine the conflict or whatever sibling rivalry you're going to have between Rarity and Sweetie Belle? That will be interesting to see. So, whatever they got going on here is going to be fun. I can't wait to see it. And there's no doubt that Pinky going to the moon, Pinky with the air bubbles on her and Gummy, and her dancing basically on the rings of Saturn, if you will. Starlight with, Applejack, or what we assume is actually Starlight in an Applejack disguise, playing the ukulele. We know those guys. We know that if that's episode 200 and that's part of what it's going to offer, you can only imagine how much more fun we're going to get out of this um, down the line. So yeah, I cannot wait to see what we get out of this as a result. Now, speaking of episode 200, it's going to be taking place during something that, well, I'm going to talk about next, and that is BabsCon. BabsCon 2019, known for, it is short for Bay Area Brony Spectacular. Excuse me. It's one of the, like I said, it's BabsCon. It's known as Bay Area Brony Spectacular. It is one of the more top important, if not must see or must attend conventions as far as the My Little Pony Brony Pegasus community is concerned. And it's been going for several years now. I think it's been going for maybe a little shorter than BronyCon. Let me check. Trying to see how long. I know it's been going for several years now. I know it's been going for several years now. Hold on, let me check here. Oh, here we go. This might help. Let's see. Trying to see here. I know it's been going for a while, so I'm trying to see here. Okay, 2013. So it's been going for about 6 years. Actually, April of 2014. It was founded in 2013, and it first began and it had its first convention in 2014. So it's been going on for about 5 years, ever since I think about the fifth season. So now it's happening, and now it's into its fifth year. It's a couple of years younger than BronyCon, let's put it that way. But anyway, BabsCon, again, now we're in the second topic here. BabsCon is happening as we speak. It begins today um, in Burlingame, California, which is on the outskirts of San Francisco, at the High Regency Hotel, I believe. It's a High Regency Hotel. I think that's where it's at. Well, actually, it starts tomorrow, but a lot of people are getting there today and setting stuff up today. But it is at the High Regency Hotel. Yeah, it's at the yeah. Let's see. I'm trying to make sure I know. I'm trying to make sure that's what. The High Regency Hotel. That's where it's at. So yeah, it is at the High Regency Hotel in Burlingame, California. Like I said, on the outskirts. Yeah, the SFO High Regency in Burlingame. So it's near the San Francisco airport. Yeah, but it takes place. Um, it starts tomorrow and takes place till after Easter. So yeah, it's gonna be there throughout Easter. And I'm guessing the reason they did that is because they know a lot of people are gonna want to spend Easter with their families. So you give them an extra day to, get to be part of the convention. It's kind of unusual to do it that way, but what do you? But hey, what are you gonna do? Um, but yeah, I've never been to BabsCon. I'm hoping maybe they do a live stream or something throughout on YouTube or Twitch, because that way, for those that can't be there, can actually kind of experience it a little bit. Like I said, there's a lot of people that are like community guests, vendors, the you know that are going to be there. What I'm trying to say is going to be there. Like I said, there's a lot of people that are going to be community guests, vendors that are going to be there. Some are actually just going to be there because they want to mingle with fans and people that watch the content and their take and their thoughts on ponies. So it's going to be a great time for everybody that's going to be there. And I wish I could go, honestly, but financially can't really do it. But I do wish the best of luck, and I do hope everybody has a great time at BronyCon, because, like I said, it's right in my backyard, if you will, San Francisco Bay Area. I mean, yeah, I live in Newman, California, in the Central Valley, but if you go down this highway, if you go down Highway 33 and you get onto the freeway, there's going to be a few exits, like a couple, like 30 miles away, or 25 miles away, I should say, that will tell you to probably go this way, depending on how you see this, but tell you to go to the left, or left or right, however you see this kind of video, to go to San Francisco and Burlingame. So, or at least towards the airport in that direction. So it's going to be. So I really hope everybody has a great time there. Nothing bad happens or anything. I don't think it will, but you got to be careful because here's what's funny. Not here's what's funny, but here's what happened at one convention recently. I think it was in Dallas. I think it was what was it, Dallas or Chicago? It's actually Chicago. I was in Chicago a couple months ago. Something happened during the convention. I think it was in like one of the final days. In was it? No, it was actually Dallas. I think I'm not really sure, but it was one of the conventions, and somebody did something, and it caused a lot of people that were at that convention to have to leave the hotel or leave the location in the hotel that the convention was at and stand in freezing cold while the police and all of them, well, the police and squad and the SWAT teams looked for whatever it was that was going on. What apparently, from what I understand, there was a bomb threat or something, and I guess it turned out to be nothing, or it turned out to be a hoax or something. So I hope nothing like that happens here, because apparently there are people that will do something like that to ruin everybody's fun. Because let's be honest, there's a lot of people, even to this day, they look at an event like BabsCon or BronyCon and they're like, why are people celebrating the show that's mainly meant for little girls? I don't understand. So hopefully, you know, prayers kept that nothing happens to anybody at BabsCon this year. So I don't think it will. I'm pretty sure the people in charge of BabsCon are going to make sure that everything, they have tight security and everything, because I'm pretty sure they heard about what happened at that one convention. So they're going to make sure a lot of things are secure and safe. So that's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm thinking, and that's what I'm hoping, and I believe it's going to be that way. Um, but yeah, I'm literally, like I said, I'm really looking forward to seeing what they got planned for BabsCon this year. Even though, like I said, I can't go and attend. And it's kind of ironic that it's going to be that the second day will be when the 200th episode happens. So my thought mainly is they're going to gather a lot of people in one area to watch this episode. Maybe even later on, even after everybody in the hotel watches it initially, everybody's going to come out and they're going to watch it like I wouldn't say it's a big theater, but like a big room with a big screen on it. So I know obviously that that's what's going to happen. So cannot wait to see what they do as far as that goes down the line. Um, Now, do I think there will be another BabsCon after this? Absolutely. They haven't made no announcement yet. This might be the year they make an announcement to maybe 2020 could be it, but I don't think so. Um, the only reason I think, and I said this in a video, I think the only reason BronyCon shut down is financially. They couldn't really afford it much anymore, and mainly it's on the East Coast, so it's a little bit more expensive to book stuff there at times. So I think BabsCon's probably going to. If I was to make a prediction about BabsCon, I would say BabsCon is probably going to go at least another year or so. I'll put it this way: BabsCon, I think, is going to last. It's going to last a couple more years. It'll be around. I'm hoping this. I'm hoping this is true. I'm hoping BabsCon is around till at least the next MLP movie, and that's supposed to be planned for 2022, I think, or 2021. That's the projection they have. So I'm hoping for around that time, and who knows, maybe the movie will cause a resurgence, and maybe BabsCon will continue on for several more years. Maybe BronyCon might resurrect itself after this year. Who knows? We'll have to wait and see. Excuse me there. We'll have to wait and see what occurs down the line. We'll have to see what occurs down the line. And if you will. For a sec, let me just. Okay, we'll just have to wait and see what happens down the line. But anyway, again, I hope everybody has fun at BabsCon this year. Hope everybody enjoys um, each other's company, has fun at the panels, has fun talking maybe one on one. You know, if there's a break, because obviously in these kind of conventions, there's going to be opportunity to where the guests, the panel guests, and all that will walk the floor and do a meet and greet and just talk individually one on one with some of the people. So hopefully they'll be able to do that. And really, that's all I can really say on it. That's all I can really say. Again, I hope everybody has fun and enjoys themselves and are careful because, like I said, God willing, nothing really happens here. God willing that nothing strange or out of the ordinary occurs. And again, just hope and pray for the very best. Hope and pray for the very best there. Um, Now, let's get to the episode that let's get to the next topic. And it's the episode a lot of people have a problem with. I've also done an audio video, so I'll be posting that up later on too. Hopefully, you guys will be able to understand what I said there. And just to let you know, I did do it on the fly, so it's unscripted. So take it for what it take that for what it is. Like I said, take that for what it is. Um, anyway, let's talk about Uprooted, which was the third episode here in season 9, the final season. And a lot of probably what I'm going to say here, I said on my audio video, so I'm not going to take too long on it. Um, but Uprooted, even though it's the third episode of the season, it's also, ladies and gentlemen, the first student slash young six episode of the season. It's also the first episode of the season that has a song sung by the young six. Um, so that's kind of unique and interesting to see or to hear, I should say, if you will. But anyway, yeah, Uprooted kind of got a mixed reaction this past weekend, mainly due to the fact that a lot of fans, and like I said, like I mentioned in the second topic, a lot of some of the people some of the fans you're gonna meet at panels that'll community guests and vendors and all that, mascot players, what have you, um, at at BabsCon this week, or this weekend, this Easter weekend. A lot of them have kind of given their own opinion on on what's going on, or how they felt about BabsCon, because not a lot of people were too thrilled with it. I'll put it that way. Not a lot of people were happy about it. Some people felt it was a good episode for the young six slash student six, kind of really focusing individually on the characters and all that, kind of giving them more room to grow as a character as well as develop. But the one thing that really got a lot of people kind of irked a little bit wasn't the fact that the episode wasn't good. They thought it was okay. It was like, yeah, it might be all right. Even Voice of Reason said in his at the screening review that he does with Despio, which they're doing for this final season, he said that even though he gave it a hoofs down, a thumbs down, he might change his mind later on and give it a hooves up or thumbs up at the end of the season when he kind of looks back at all the episodes. But the reason he, along with others, have felt that way, even someone like Dr. Wolf, who did a review on it, is mainly because they have seen this same plot play out before. So a similar, if not identical, plot play out before in season 5 with the episode Castle Sweet Castle. The reason being is if you go back and watch Castle Sweet Castle, from what everybody is saying, it's very identical in story. Just like the Young Six, they have their own individual ideas of how they want to memorialize and remember the Tree of Harmony. Because in this episode, they get a message in their dream from the spirit of the Tree of Harmony, who I still stand by is Gusty. I don't know how they're going to explain it, but I know it's Gusty. Again, why would the Tree of Harmony suddenly come to life this past season 8 and now continue that here in season 9? In the way, in the way she speaks at the end of the episode, makes you wonder. But anyway, I still stick by my thoughts there. What I'm looking at, well, not what I'm looking at, but mainly what I'm trying to say is a lot of people, what I'm trying to say, let me get some coffee. I kind of lost my train of thought there when I just spoke about Gusty a little bit. But like I was saying, a lot of people, basically, when they look at the students going and trying to own individual ideas instead of working together on how to memorialize the tree, because like I said, this is the first episode following the premiere where the students slash young six, they're having these dreams, and in these dreams they're getting messages. They're all being brought together by the spirit of the Tree of Harmony, which again, like I said, I still believe is Gusty, but I've talked about that already. And they wake up from the dream, from this shared dream, this combination of all their dreams. They go to Twilight to find out what's going on, and so they go and they see that the tree is damaged, it's broken, it's destroyed. So basically, they understand. So basically, what they're given is the task of trying to memorialize it, or that's what they think, because in the end, it's not just them memorializing the tree, it's basically them creating a new foundation for it to grow into what is basically a treehouse, a huge freaking treehouse, or as some people point it, like Millennimus in his reviews points out, a new toy to sell for Hasbro. But yeah, it grows into this treehouse. Now, the reason people feel that it's identical to Castle Sweet Castle is because the rest of the main six are trying to make Twilight's new castle in season 5 feel more at home for her, because she used to, before that, live she used to call the Golden Oaks or Great Oaks Library home. That was her home, but it got destroyed by Tirek, so it was no more. So now she's got this new castle. She's got this new home that came courtesy of the Tree of Harmony itself. After they had defeated Tirek, they restored everybody's magic. They came back, and suddenly all the rainbow power that they had suddenly went in this box or container took all the rainbow powers that it gave them, went into the ground, and out of it grew Twilight's castle. So, long story short, the rest of the main six are trying to make it feel at home for her, trying to make it feel more homey, like, you know, so that Twilight doesn't feel out of place. Like she can walk in here and it'll still feel like something she can call home. But here's the thing: just like with the students, the main six or the rest of the main six had their own individual ideas of how it would feel at home for Twilight. In other words, how would the castle feel at home to them is how they were picturing how it would feel to Twilight. And it wasn't until the end that they came together and realized, you know what, we we're not doing this correctly, because we're doing it for ourselves and how we would feel at home, and we're not thinking about how Twilight would feel at home. And that's the similarities, because you have the disagreements between the students, just like you had the disagreements between the rest of the main six, and you have the ending basically where they come together and realize, you know what, we're thinking about ourselves and how we would want it individually, and not how it should be, not working together and thinking about how, you know, it should be remembered or how Twilight would like it. You know, you get the idea. And that's why a lot of people kind of find it kind of give the episode a mixed reaction, because yeah, the only thing that you've really changed in their opinion is the cast of characters. You haven't really changed anything besides that. I mean, yeah, you give them the first song of the season, but you haven't really changed anything besides that. And the only other difference is, even though the castle felt more at home, they came together and did the right thing to make the castle feel more at home for Twilight in the season 5 episode. Here, the moment the students come together and decide to create this little tree house, all they did is create the foundation, and all of a sudden, the thing starts to grow and become what it is. And that's another reason some people are kind of critical about it, because all this really was not just a follow-up to the premiere, so now that the student six can be involved, which they're going to need to be involved anyway down the line, but it's also just a way for Hasbro to shell out a new toy that they're eventually going to sell. But when does that go on sale? We don't really know. You know what I'm saying? We don't really know when that's going to go on sale. You know what I'm saying? So we'll just have to wait and see what they got planned. And in the future, like I said, we'll just have to wait and see what they got planned in the future. Hasbro, that is, if they plan to basically, sell this as a toy, because that's basically what a lot of people are interpreting it as a toy. That's, basically, that's how they interpret this episode, not just as a rehash and a retread of a previous episode from several seasons ago, but also just a way to shell out a new toy that they're planning to sell. But we'll have to wait and see what occurs. Honestly, I don't really mind the episode, really, because I like the fact that you're giving the students an episode. You're kind of bringing them into the season, besides forgetting about them. Besides just having them for one season, you're bringing them back and showing that, hey, they are an important part. So, to me, I like the idea that they got an episode. They got one of the first episodes of the season. I do like that. But again, I understand where some people are coming from, where they feel like it's the episode they were brought back into or debuted in for this season is just a rehash or retread of something previously. But as I said in the audio video, and I'll say it real quickly here, the reason they do that, the reason a lot of places do that, they take newer characters sometimes and they put them into episodes or stories that are similar, if not identical, to earlier episodes, is because of the fact that if you have a new fan base, or you know that you probably have a new audience and fan base that's watching the series, and you ventured to, and that fan base has come in about the same time these new characters have, then by introducing these new characters and putting them into this setting, you're getting this new audience invested into those characters. But then, as far as the establishing long time fans that kind of see that retread, it when they come out and say, "Oh, well, this is just a retread of what we've seen before," it makes that newer fan base, newer audience be like, "Well, what are you talking about? I want to see it," and that makes them want to go see the episode that is it's identical to, if not just a retread of. And as far as like the established fans go, to put the student six in here, it's to kind of like continue to establish the characters, grow the characters, and get them ready for what a lot of people inevitably feel is the moment where they're going to be passed the torch. In other words, where the main six, main seven is going to pass them the torch and say, "You're the new bearers of the elements of harmony. You're the new guardians and defenders of Equestria." So it's going to be really interesting how we get to that point. But anyway, that's why studios like Allspark Animation, the creative staff behind the show, did what they did for with this episode and the student slash young six. That's why they did the retread, in my opinion. I'll talk more about it in the audio video that I'll upload soon. All right, last but not least, let's talk about what does the future hold for Friendship is Magic, mostly Equestria Girls. It's connecting slash spinoff series that it has. We know that Friendship is Magic is ending this year, but like I said before, I don't think it's going to be totally gone. It was already proven last season, at the end of last season, in what I consider an 8.5 episode. Season 8.5 episode, best gift ever. It was proven during the duration building up to season 9 with these shorts that they were doing on YouTube. I don't think even though from a regular episodic standpoint, I don't think Friendship is, even what I'm trying to say is, even though from an episodic standpoint, I don't, Friendship is Magic might be coming to an end from that standpoint, seasonal, episodic wise, but I don't think it's going to be over just yet. We do have, according to the plans, we have two more 44 minute to 1 hour specials, one this summer and one at the end of the year for the holidays. And I got a feeling we're going to have more later on as we build towards that next generation, the Generation 5 debut. So, I don't think Friendship is Magic is going to be gone entirely. I think, like I said, seasonal and episodic wise, it will be. But as far as stories with them and all that, you're still going to have the IDW comics going as far as we know. And like I said, you're still going to have possibly more 44 minute to 1 hour specials debuting in the future as we build towards Generation 5. I think by doing that, it's their way of easing us into Generation 5. That's what I think they're doing. Because I got a feeling that if that's the direction they're going to go, one of those 44 minute to 1 hour specials, it's going to be a crossover between this generation and the new generation. So, and as far as Equestria Girls goes, a lot of people are saying that they're still going to continue into Gen 5. I don't think that's going to be the case. I think, honestly, they're going to follow the same path. They're going to do what they've been doing for a while, even before Friendship is Magic started doing it. They're going to continue doing their shorts. They're going to build up to these 44 minute to 1 hour specials. But I think before Gen 5 officially begins is where we're going to get one last Equestria Girls special. Might be a movie. I'm not really sure. But you know that they're building towards these characters graduating out of Canterlot High. And to me, it's going to really signify not just the end of Equestria Girls, but it's going to have a lot of emotional moments in there. And I think that special or movie, however they decide to end Equestria Girls with them graduating, is also going to mean that Sunset is going to probably head back to Equestria because she's done all she can here, and you know she's redeemed herself fully to where now she can head back and live happily in Equestria um, from then on in. Um, Now I know some people may not think that's going to happen, but it is. There's no doubt that because here's the thing: Hasbro knows fans want to see that happen. It's not just let's just bring her back on occasions so we can give them her reuniting and reconciling with um, or reconciliation or reconciling with Celestia. Let's not just bring her back because we want to do a special that ties in with the ties Equestria Girls in with the with the My Little Pony movie. Um, Honestly, this is the truth. Honestly, that honestly Hasbro and mostly the people behind both series know that they got to make this moment happen. They got to make it occur. But knowing their track record, sometimes when it comes to Equestria Girls, lately, Spring Breakdown probably wasn't the best work according to a lot of people. But besides that, a majority of what they've given us has been all right, has been good to all right. So I think if they know that that's probably a moment fans are going to expect, that they're going to do their very best to give us a great final Equestria Girls movie or event, special, whatever, that centered around them graduating, as well as kind of ties in, Sunset probably going back to Equestria on a permanent basis because, like I said, she's redeemed herself and she's done all she can. Now, here's the thing, though. A lot of people didn't like how Spring Breakdown ended. And I think there was a reason for that. I think they're going to lead, that's being kept as a cliffhanger because you can't tell me that after what's happened and after all these humans, the Equestria Gold versions of the characters we've seen in Friendship with Magic, you can't tell me that all these humans going through the mirror back to being in front, going through the mirror to go back to being in front of the school. Well, because that's the only way they can get back. You can't tell me that one of them, maybe a new character, won't be like, this is dumb. Did you see the danger we had? And it's all because of this girl, all because of this girl, these girls, because of the magic they have, and all that. You can't tell me that they're not going to build to something, maybe one more special before the graduation one, to where you have a group of people that kind of agree that yeah, something's got to be done to kind of prevent this magic from this other world from coming into our world ever again. And there's no doubt that if they do something like that, and again, this is why I think it ended on a cliffhanger, Spring Breakdown that is because they're building to another special where a conflict is probably going to take place, and maybe they're going to center the blame on someone like Sunset because they know, well, wait a minute, isn't this girl initially really a pony disguised as a human right now? And just go from there and see what they roll out. But as far as Equestria Girls goes, again, I think it's going to end probably before Generation 5 officially starts. And it's going to end in a way where Sunset's going to head home. But I think we're also going to get another special that's going to build itself off this little cliffhanger we had or abrupt ending / cliffhanger we had with Spring Breakdown, where someone on the human side is going to come out and basically be like, look, this, what happened with that cruise ship and all this magic suddenly just popping out of nowhere, has to come to an end. We have to stop this. And they might even point the blame towards Sunset, but we don't know. But I know they're building to something like that. I just got this feeling that you wouldn't there's a reason why they did an abrupt end slash cliffhanger ending at the end of Spring Breakdown, because they're building to something like that. And to me, that, along with a few short specials in between, Spring Breakdown, Spring Breakdown, the next upcoming special, and then between that special and and what I consider could be the finale special, um, with all that combined, I think Equestria Girls is probably going to reach its apex and its finale and its end before Gen 5 comes around. And it's going to be, and if you're a fan of both, it's going to be a roller coaster of a ride. But I have this feeling, again, it's my opinion too, and I could be wrong. If I'm wrong about it, I am. But I got a feeling that we get to that next special that I believe may maybe build off that abrupt ending slash cliffhanger, as well as start building to the graduation one, the finale, which we'll get into. I think you're probably going to get some very funny individual or group shorts, as well as you're going to get some good storytelling along the way with the next special and even the special after that. So, but again, that's just my opinion, but I believe, in my opinion, that's probably where we're heading. So, yeah, I think that's basically what the future holds, for Friendship is Magic, and it's mostly Equestria Girls. That Friendship is Magic wise, the series might come to an end, but it's not going to be done entirely. They're still going to build off it with 44-minute to 1 hour specials to kind of ease us into Generation 5. Maybe even use one of them as a crossover into Gen 5, introduce us to that side of this fandom and those interpretations of the characters. As well as I think they're going to continue doing the same with Equestria Girls. They're probably going to do another special which builds off the abrupt ending and cliffhanger with this in Spring Breakdown. And maybe after that, they're going to have one that's going to be a finale, going to be basically the finale, which is graduation. It may also mean that Sunset will probably end up going back to Equestria because of that. So it's going to be, I'll say this, with this season being the last season, and the two specials that we're getting in between and afterwards, and maybe more so afterwards, and the upcoming Equestria Girls specials that we know are coming, or we could feel are coming, and what they could be based off of, it's going to be quite the emotional ride as far as, the final, as far as the, I'll put it this way, it's going to be an emotional final ride as far as Generation 4 is concerned. It's going to be like an emotional final next year or so, next 12 to maybe 16 months, that it's going to be, I'll put it this way, it's going to be an emotional next year to maybe year and a half of a ride. That's what I'm trying to say. It's going to be an emotional next year and a half, maybe 2 years of a ride. As far as Generation 4 is concerned, Friendship is Magic, and that being Friendship is Magic and Equestria Girls. So, yeah, that's what I believe the future is going to hold. So, in my opinion. But anyway, that's all I can say, guys. Thank you all for tuning in. Really appreciate it. In fact, let me try something here. Let me look at something. Hold on. But yeah, it's definitely going to be like I said, it's definitely going to be an emotional next year and a half, 2 year ride as far as this generation is concerned. But that's all. Again, that's all I could say, guys. Let me know what you all think down below. Comment if you like. Thank you all for tuning in live. Really appreciate it. And thank you all for commenting afterwards, post live. And for those of you watching this live while you're at BabsCon and getting ready for BabsCon, have fun, be safe. God be with you on that. And all of you have a good Easter. If I don't do a live stream before then, you you'll know why. But yeah, really, that's all I can say, guys. So again, thank you all for tuning in. I really appreciate it, and I will talk to you all later. God bless. Take care.